Welcome to the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube. This is our Awakening Together weekly gathering. Each and every week we have a different minister who speaks. If you'd like to attend our services live, please visit our website awakening-together.org. Click on Online Sanctuary on the main menu. Then, How to Enter the Sanctuary. Our services are held Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary.
All right. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Hey, and happy April. That's it. Yeah, spring. It's really good to be with you all. This is our Sunday gathering. Today's topic is called What I Want, I Am Not. What I Am, I Cannot Want. And we'll be reading from A Course in Miracles today if you want to follow along. Again, nice to be with you all wherever you are in this amazing world, morning, noon, or night. I'm back on the East Coast, on the Cape, and yeah, it's nice to see where everyone's from. So here at Awakening Together, we have a purpose, which is we're an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. And this is within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We're here to seek, to discern one truth, and to rest in its embrace. And in our purpose, we also have core values, and there's 5 of them. And today, number 3 stood out to go along with the prompt of this homily. So core value number 3 is we accept one true self, which is one presence or being, non-dual, without beginning or end, and absolutely changeless. We live this value by practicing letting go of the belief in the individual self as who we are. So like I said, the topic is what I want, I am not. What I am, I cannot want, because we love paradoxes and word gymnastics. So even if I want the true self, everything that is leading me there as a want will meet its limitation, right? And then we lean into that surrender of even that individual that had the true desire. So to feel into the true being that you are, you cannot want what you are. So we're going to play with that today. Thanks, Sina, for playing that. Sail away is my Ruby Sparks sailing. Such a beautiful relationship to see your heart manifest and play in the world. And give God the credit. So, all right, let's get settled in with a prayer. Holy Spirit, this is yours. All I have is gratitude and too much thanks to fit into one moment. It's a thanking for allowing the spillage of my heart to find its awakeness and find its merging, to find the unconventional thing that we are doing here and blending in with the world, blending in with the beyond. Everyone's entitled to this bliss. There's nothing special. And I want to thank all of my, all of the love for all of the teachers that have just blessed and graced my life, and to watch the separation of teacher, and student, and guru, and knowledge, and wisdom, and all just bring it into the one central heart. And to feel that I amness, where it's all coming from the same source. Non-dual changelessness, and falling in love with consciousness and falling in love with the purification. My only desire is for people to fall in love with their true self. So today, Holy Spirit, you know what's on my heart, so let's go for a ride. Amen. And today, like I said, I'm going to post it on the board. We're reading from A Course in Miracles. And Shawna, thank you so much for being here with me and reading. So she's going to read there's a little introduction before lessons 181 to 200, and I think the intention and the instruction is really beautiful. And then we'll be reading 185. And this is from the Blue Book. So Shawna, thanks again. The mic is all yours.
Thank you, Reverend Meghan, for giving me this opportunity. So the introduction to lessons 181 through 200, and it's on page 336 in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. Our next few lessons make a special point of firming up your willingness to make your weak commitment strong, your scattered goals blended to one intent. You are not asked for total dedication all the time as yet, but you are asked to practice now in order to attain the sense of peace such unified commitment will bestow, if only intermittently. It is experiencing this that makes it sure that you will give your total willingness to following the way the Course sets forth. Our lessons now are geared specifically to widening horizons and direct approaches to the special blocks that keep your vision narrow and too limited to let you see the value of our goal. We are attempting now to lift these blocks, however briefly. Words alone cannot convey the sense of liberation which their lifting brings. But the experience of freedom and of peace that comes as you give up your tight control of what you see speaks for itself. Your motivation will become so intensified that words become of little consequence. You will be sure of what you want and what is valueless. And so we start our journey beyond words by concentrating first on what impedes your progress still. Experience of what exists beyond defensiveness remains beyond achievement while it is denied. It may be there, but you cannot accept its presence. So now we attempt to go past all defenses for a little while each day. No more than this is asked, because no more than this is needed. It will be enough to guarantee the rest will come. Now for lesson 185, I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could mean them for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven will be completely given back to full awareness. Memory of God entirely restored. The resurrection of all creation fully recognized. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams, nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God, and it is given him. For that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Many have said these words, but few indeed have meant them. You have but to look upon the world you see around you to be sure how very few they are. The world would be completely changed should any two agree these words express the only thing they want. Two minds with one intent become so strong that what they will becomes the will of God. For minds can only join in truth. In dreams, no two can share the same intent. To each, the hero of the dream is different. The outcome wanted, not the same for both. Loser and gainer merely shift about in changing patterns as the ratio of gain to loss and loss to gain take on different aspect or another form. Yet compromise alone a dream can bring. Sometimes it takes the form of union, but only the form. The meaning must escape the dream, for compromising is the goal of dreaming. Minds cannot unite in dreams. They merely bargain. And what bargain can give them the peace of God? Illusions come to take his place. And what he means is lost to sleeping minds intent on compromise, each to his gain and to another's loss. To mean you want the peace of God is to renounce all dreams. For no one means these words who wants illusions, and who therefore seeks the means which bring illusions. He has looked on them and found them wanting. Now he seeks to go beyond them, recognizing that another dream would offer nothing more than all the others. Dreams are one to him, and he has learned their only difference is one of form, for one will bring the same despair and misery as do the rest. The mind which means that all it wants is peace must join with other minds, for that is how peace is obtained. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given in a form each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. Whatever form the lesson takes is planned for him in such a way that he cannot mistake it if his asking is sincere. But if he asks without sincerity, there is no form in which the lesson will meet with acceptance and be truly learned. Let us today devote our practicing to recognizing that we really mean the words we say. We want the peace of God. This is no idle wish. These words do not request another dream be given us. They do not ask for compromise, nor try to make another bargain in hope that there may yet be one that can succeed where all the rest have failed. To mean these words acknowledges illusions are in vain, requesting the eternal in the place of shifting dreams, which seem to change in what they offer, but are one in nothingness. Today, devote your practice periods to careful searching of your mind to find the dreams you cherish still. What do you ask for in your heart? Forget the words you use in making your requests. Consider but what you believe will comfort you and bring you happiness. But be you not dismayed by lingering illusions, for their form is not what matters now. Let not some dreams be more acceptable, reserving shame and secrecy for others. They are one. And being one question should be asked of them all. Is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? This is the choice you make. Be not deceived that it is otherwise. No compromise is possible in this. You choose God's peace, or you have asked for dreams, and dreams will come as you requested them. Yet will God's peace come just as certainly, and to remain with you forever. It will not be gone with every twist and turning of the road, to reappear unrecognized in forms which shift and change with every step you take. You want the peace of God, and so do all who seem to seek for dreams. For them as well as for yourself, you ask but this when you make this request with deep sincerity. For thus you reach to what they really want and join your own intent with what they seek above all things, perhaps unknown to them, but sure to you. You have been weak at times, uncertain in your purpose, and unsure of what you wanted, where to look for it, and where to turn for help in the attempt. Help has been given you, and would you not avail yourself of it by sharing it? No one who truly seeks the peace of God can fail to find it, for he merely asks that he deceive himself no longer by denying to himself what is God's will. Who can remain unsatisfied who asks for what he has already? Who could be unanswered who requests an answer which is his to give? The peace of God is yours. For you was peace created, given you by its creator, and established in his own eternal gift. How can you fail when you ask for what he wills for you? And how could your request be limited to you alone? No gift of God can be unshared. It is this attribute that sets the gifts of God apart from every dream that ever seemed to take the place of truth. No one can lose, and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but to unite. To take away is meaningless to him, and when it is as meaningless to you, you can be sure you share one will with him and he with you. And as you will, also you know you share one will with all your brothers, whose intent is yours. It is this one intent we seek today, uniting our desires with the need of every heart, the call of every mind, the hope that lies beyond despair, the love attack would hide, the brotherhood that hate has sought to sever, but which still remains as God created it. With help like this beside us, can we fail today as we request the peace of God be given us? Thank you.
Thank you, Shawna. I've come a long way with these homilies, I'll tell you. If you could only be a fly on the wall of my head. And the beautiful journey of preparing and performing has been such an inquiry for me. And I promised Shawna that she wouldn't be reading throughout my entire homily. I don't know if anyone was here last time for my homily, but what had happened was, just like the lesson just said, and what we're going to do is go through this reading, is if you know where you're coming from, then you trust what shows up is given. And so the homily last time was this desire that I'm going through with, like, I'm going to throw away the books, but no, I like the books, but I have all the knowledge inside, but oh man, this quote really lights me up, and just this painful threshold sometimes of going through the individual personality, always clinging on to what is just happening. So, a brief description of what happened with the homily last time was, I started off with one line, and then it was like, I didn't stop until I stopped. And I didn't even know how long it was, because I had already gotten the prompt, like, you're going to ask Regina to read something that you wrote. And I just didn't argue with it, right? And the only confusion I have is thinking that I have confusion, that was a mistake, and catching that right now. But anyway, it's been, and then Regina wound up reading this long thing, and then I'm like, oh hey, it's me, Meg, and I just wanted to tell you about my life story really quick, and let's listen to some music. And that's just my interpretation of what happened. Not what happened, but just this discovery of trusting this rest. Could I just sit in front of you right now without having one sentence in front of me? There's a love for that wanting to happen. And the body just wants to die. It wants to scream and go, like, you all know what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm sharing, there's this thing going on, which I've gone into inquiry about, is like this special bubble of knowing who I am in this space where it's totally silent and it's just me. And then I run in two speeds right now. It's like there's so much not to say that there's just nothing and you're good. And silence is like this juicy conversation. And then it's this other speed of like, wow, we're really starting to feel into the allness of I. Like there's multi-dimensionality. There's parallel perspectives which I can tap into that I don't have to attach to. I mean, it's just waking up is exciting, but I got to wake down from it a little bit. So that's just the description of the phase of the letting go and becoming, and that awkward feeling of, you ever get that weird feeling where you're like, aha, and you're so in the space of no space, and the flow is just you. And then you go, wow, what the heck was I thinking about this whole time? Like, what was I working on? What did I think I had to work on? Those moments are lovely too. So this is like closing that gap where it's like, whoa, my true desire to wake up has this availability of always, So the title, What I Want, I Am Not. What I Am, I Cannot Want. And so I'm just going to read the description because it came to me as one of those like metaphors to draw a cartoon in my head to understand the words. And I'm sure it's been said like a million times by 1,000 other different teachers, but here's my version. So I said, an eye cannot want to see. Its purpose is sight. It may use its free will to blink and stare and poke itself out, maybe even put shades on. It may be blind or cry, yet its function, its function has this preordained fate to see. It can't argue with it, but it can do things in spite of itself to express that function in whatever form it wants. Like, squeeze my eyes tight. I can't see, but not seeing is still the other side of seeing. You can't escape the duality of oneness, right? Like, even if it comes in the form of form, you can't escape its oneness. So likewise, like our free will toward peace is the will of God. So the eye, I mean, does it want to see? Like, does it see because it wanted to see? No. Like the eye doesn't see because it wants to see, it already is. So do I want the peace? Do I want the peace? Do I want the peace of God? This lesson, I want the peace of God. Well, my mind is weak, so it has to want something in the right direction, right? I have to know myself, accept myself, and then create it. So do I want the peace of God, or do I believe that do I believe the word? Do I believe the word, and will I honor my word? So this is the first homily that I actually didn't spend a week thinking about it every minute of every second in this concern / worry. I was a dancer for a while, and I was an athlete, and my whole formative years was around perfectionism and performance and preparing, and up until the point of performing, I would be totally sick, like just gone. But I was conditioned so well that the result was always great. So I never got rid of the habit. And so that personality carried on into here. So even the process of doing this is it's a magnificent inquiry for me to let go of that habit that is not serving emptiness. It serves something, but it's not serving emptiness. So let's see. So this wonderful lesson, and this was another thing, I'm trusting the prompts because I feel really clean. I feel really clean on where I'm coming from. And I just didn't want to invite what I always invited. So there was this wonderful prompt for this lesson, and I saw this YouTube video of master teacher describing A Course in Miracles lined up with the 12 steps, and then I fell upon lesson 185, and then even the description of Paul Hederman, his description on just closing that gap. You say you want something, and that little gap in wanting of it is the block that you're going to have to let go. And so this lesson, it really pointed to the commitment of a conviction and saying you don't want to ride a bike when you were going to ride a bike, right? You didn't think I'm going to bend my knees this way to do the pedals this way, and I hold the handlebars and I keep it like this, and the wheels go here. You wanted to ride the bike so much that you rode the bike and the obstacles sorted themselves out because you wanted to ride the bike. And that childness of going into spirituality doesn't exist for a little while, right? I want enlightenment. There is nothing lighthearted about that. Does not feel like riding a bike, right? So, but it is because we're already that. But I love this tough love feeling that I get sometimes from the lessons where they're your motivation will be so intensified that words become of little consequence. You will be sure of what you want and what is valueless. And so we start our journey beyond words by concentrating first on what impedes your progress still. And I'm going to share this little diagram on the screen, and I'm sorry if you're listening on the radio. I'll try to describe it. It's pretty much like the 4 principles of God, right? In this, I remember, oh God, it must have been 4 years ago, and I had drawn this picture of this girl with a box on her head, just sitting all mopey on the floor, and she had a big just cardboard box over her head like a cat. And then a week later, Regina has this talk, and she goes, we're all just like box head people. So little things like this have just happen all the time. I'm having conversations with people that I met in the most lovely, lovely ways. It's Ruby sparking our life, right? So But part of this eligibility for like knowing that bliss is ours, knowing that Sat Chit Ananda, being aware of consciousness itself, produces the state of bliss. And then that gives us what we're supposed to be lined up with. Like, do I trust that? Do I trust that? A part of it was this completely accepting where I am. You know, okay, I know that all these boxes on this screen, I know that this is the oneness, but am I pretending that I want to be here, thinking that I'm not here, but I really am here, but I want to be over here? What I'm saying is, I know I'm the absolute, but if I'm not convicted in getting rid of all of my false beliefs, then that gap is just too large and will become a false obstacle. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an obstacle for me to walk through trusting, knowing it's going to give me clarity. It's an obstacle of a lack belief. Like, I am not God, you know, so I'll never be God. And so what I'm trying to say is, there's this beautiful thing that I did where I just completely accepted where I was, and starting from that starting point, going like, yeah, you know what? When I get that phone call, I do get a trigger in my stomach still. That doesn't mean I'm not the absolute. It just means, you know, it's a lightheartedness acceptance on knowing that because of my conviction and knowing that I'm all of this, if a personhood comes up, it doesn't mean I'm not God. if I'm, you know, and, you know, I'm super hard on myself. So that's one thing that I couldn't take into my spirituality lately. It's like, Meg, why don't you do something that you haven't done before? Do you know how to be nice to yourself about this process? Do you know how to just be gentle with who you are right now? So I wanted to share this diagram because I love the picture that I get in my head when I'm thinking about the 4 principles of God, and when I'm, you know, trying to assess and access where I am, where I know we're going, where we're all going, and you know, it's like, think about it this way. I was thinking the other day, you know, I'm shy, so therefore I know I don't like groups of people. You know, like, all right, that's a pretty strong conviction you're going to carry around forever. But like, if I had a hurt child in my car and I had to go in and run to the hospital or get some stuff, am I shy when I have to go ask for directions, when I have to go so like, that belief didn't exist in that moment, so I am shy. I cannot, you know, and just getting to the honesty of how funny some of those things are. So I've been popping, you know, some beliefs like, you know, I want to be in this, I want my meditator to live on the outside. I want who I think I am when I'm meditating to not think that it can't go to the grocery store, right? And so it's been fun this past, you know, half year, I think, with those things, really working on how deeply fear can lie. And then how funny it is to watch fear come up and go, I like, it's amazing how seriously we can take these special beliefs and make a hierarchy of them inside of our own psyche. So in I Want the Peace of God, it gets that, and I know I highlighted something along the way. So thanks for hanging out with me while I wing this from the hip, because it's really this trust and like, everything's going to be given to me, right? Like, I meditated on the word tolerance after I listened to Reverend Jacqueline and Yolanda on Friday night on their Course in Miracles program. And I didn't meditate on anything they really said about tolerance afterwards, but because I didn't have any intention to meditate on anything about it, but I kept hearing tolerance pop up. So I was like, all right, I got the message. I'm going. So I went into it, and I had this like, I'm just going to not tolerate what the head wants me to believe that it's saying. Like, we're always doing that, but a strong conviction to be like, Meg, why don't you do something different that you've never done before? And then I did that with this homily, for instance. Like, don't write anything, don't be prepared, you've got everything. So, all right, great. I've never done that before, so let's do it. And so there's this. So the word tolerance was like, I loved the tough love that came along with that, because I did want to sidestep around, because I was listening to Jacqueline a little bit, and I was finding all these like beautiful ways around the word. Like, yeah, I mean, if my identity does have to tolerate, then that's not really being convicted in the true self, because that's such an act of tolerating something. So I'm going in. And I was like, Meg, this is just simple. You made a distinction of what your ego is. Just don't tolerate it. It's it. Don't tolerate it. And it was this real defining moment of like being simple, which is not something that happens for me on the other side of silence. Like, when I get excited about clarity and truth, it's like a blah, 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 forever. And anyway, tolerance. When I see it, make that conviction and don't turn back. I mean, and when have I done that before? I have evidence that I can do that, right? And then I don't give myself credit for it. I didn't even do it. So what am I worrying about? So let's see. I'm coming back to the reading, because there were some things I highlighted along the way. No one can mean these words and not be healed. What a great promise. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams, nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God. Two minds with one intent become so strong that what they will becomes the will of God. I love this line. Sometimes it takes the form of union, but only the form. The meaning must escape the dream for compromising the goal of dreaming. Minds cannot unite in dreams. They merely bargain. All right, Holy Spirit, what do you want to say about that? So, I've been doing this practice when I go to bed at night, where I take all of my favorite things and then I die with them. Like, die meaning just this ultimate let go of making sure I bring everything that I keep hidden as special. Like, even like, all right, Meg, say you get to live this. I mean, that sounded dramatic. Yes, I have made all of my relationships that I am in total love with, knowing that Holy Spirit gave them to me, and they're all just in the flow. Like, there's nothing wrong really what's going on, but can I deepen my let go? So sometimes I go into my relationships or the house or the life, the sailing, the everything that love has given me, and I want to take it even further. So I've been going into this meditation where I just invite the scariness of what I think dying to those things could be, just so I don't feel the fear of what they are when they're hidden from me, if that makes sense. And I had this, and the thing that came into that meditation was the intention. It was never the attachments that I was letting go of. On the other side of bringing those through the ringer, I felt the results of my intention and not even the result of what I think the let go will feel like. It's like when I'm thinking about death, I'm not thinking about the other side of death. I'm thinking about the experience of what it's going to be like when I die. Let's be honest. Like, that's where all of my thinking would come from, right? So to be on this other side of, I did this incredible thing where I let everything go. I started off with like, Meg, could you live this life without a cell phone? Like, I went real simple with something that I really wanted to be around, that was helping me, that was causing me really no problem, but I loved. And I just wanted to feel the attachment of when I asked that question in a meditation. And then all of the things that are working out really well in my life, could I even give those up? If God were here right now, or this is like Moses and Jacob, right? Would you kill your son for me? Yes, I swear I will. It's like I'm bringing myself to these deepening things, and I want to share the, like, it's like sometimes I don't even know what to share. All right, I'm just going to be honest. It's like, do I teach something? Because like this whole knowledge bit, we're throwing knowledge out the window. There's nothing else that I want to tell you guys that we know. But, and then I was like, sometimes it's just about identifying with the relationship of what we're going through that I feel like I get the most out of. And I have been so unable to do that, it seems, in my dream. So I take these relationships into this death. And I'll admit, it took a catalyst of not being able. It was like I was feeling guidance in my relationship, right? And I felt like my guidance was giving me the clarity of what was clarity in guidance. And it had its limitation because it was seeking union in a form. Even though it was like clear as day perception, true perception, right? It still had a limitation. I mean, how beautiful is that? to feel like it's almost like, here's the right food for the right result of what you want in your body. But that had a limitation because it didn't come from true guidance, right? So I was feeling that with true perception, like, this still has limitation. You have to drop the whole idea of people and relationship. On the other side of this dropping into a death without relationships, I had 4 messages the next morning from 5 messages. And then two of them were really specific, like, did you die? Are you okay? Did something happen? Where did you go? Really, really amazing random, and 2 of them were just random people that I hadn't spoken to, and they were just like, are you okay? I just got a hit of you when I was driving. And I was in this total bliss and freedom at that moment. And then what's showing up for me afterwards isn't coming from any kind of loss of any relationship going anywhere, but my intention is showing up more. Like we're proving that reality is realer than the world that I want to fit in. You know, I'm so afraid of fitting in this world. Like, I just want to admit defeat. Like, I'm not. I don't want it. I don't want to understand anyone's heads anymore. Like, I don't. And this whole, like, my I am bad belief is about a like and a dislike, right? Like, I don't even know where it comes from. Where do these things come from? Like, the validation, meaning love, you know, how deep can that go? You know, the head is always looking for validation to prove to me that I am loved. And I just don't want that love anymore. I don't want the peace of God through a negotiation of being validated if you accepted my homily today. You know what I mean? I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm declaring that I don't want it. Holy Spirit, did you get it? All right. So let not some dreams be more acceptable, reserving shame and secrecy for others. They are one. Is this what I would have in place of heaven and of the peace of God? So I did this thing where I was playing with the I am bad belief a little bit deeper, and worthiness and unworthiness. And I was just like, I'm working on unworthiness. But you know what if I just say, like, screw it. I'm never going to be worthy. I am so unworthy. I'm unworthy. I'm going to be disliked forever. Forever. I am disliked. Because what I did, I went to the other side of, like, Meg, what would happen if everybody liked you the exact way that you think it would be designed perfectly if you were completely worthy? And I was like, oh my God, that's so gross. I don't even want that. Are you kidding me? What a weird ego trap. So, in step 1 of 12, in the 12 steps that there's 7 steps, there's 12 steps, there's 8 limbs of yoga, there's a whole bunch of things. In the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous, which I'm in, is you're powerless. You're powerless over what you cannot fix with your head. You got to invite a power greater than yourself to swoop in and tell you something that you don't know about this relationship. So I applied it with, these false beliefs of worthiness, dislike, time. Oh my gosh. You know what? Time, you win. I will never be able to control you. I don't even want to keep track of how you want to rule me, right? So, I'm playing with a few different things. But I'm reminded of, just while I'm sitting here talking about nothing, reminds me of, I want to invite the motivation and the conviction to already be what I'm looking for. We know Nisargadatta Maharaj tells us that, when the seeker goes, there's still a search going. So I've been really wanting to know that relationship. Like, what is the searching that really happens after I go away? And, the bliss of this life is showing up in the way that my conviction is showing up. It's like my homily last time talked about, like, I've been like 51% ego, 49% spirit, right? Like, hypothetically, let's say that's true, or for everybody, and then, like, just tipping it, like just go at it and tip it once and for all, because there's going to be this, like, nice vortex that takes over. And but I'm thinking of Matthew, NTI Matthew right now. Like, it says the resurrection will not be a surprise. The resurrection will be of your own choosing. When you are ready, you will be resurrected. And in this way, it says, in this way, it may seem as if one is taken and another is left, but that is the illusion of the world. For the one who is taken goes of his own choice and takes all that is with him. And the one who is left has yet to make the choice. So if there's still somebody who's asking, you're gonna get somebody who's answering, even if that's your little self and your higher self. But my attachment to that relationship is like an interesting one that I'm watching let go, right? For when you are ready, you will be resurrected. In this way, it may seem as if one is taken and another is left. So nothing gets left behind. So I'm letting this stuff go. And then I can't even keep up with the strange abundance of the manifestation of a pure heart. And it's almost because I just believe it will happen. It's like, I know we're going to talk about Ruby Sparks in the discussion group, but literally writing down and envisioning what it is my heart wants to see and believing that it's going to happen is just like this strange magic. I'll just I'll end on this little story that just happened in the last 3 months of believing that what I want is already mine and loving the process. So I love sailing, the water, being warm, the Caribbean beaches. Moved to a beach 15 years ago, said, I don't care what I do in the world. I'll pick up trash. I just want to live on the beach. And just did my art and my contemplations and service to others, cooking, serving. So 4 months ago, I go to the Caribbean during Christmas, and I just had this pang, this heart pang of like, Meg, just moor a boat in the Caribbean and learn how to sail a big boat. You could live on a boat. And all of a sudden I get these prompts of like talking to my father again, in this friendship way. Like, Dad, how would you feel if I could fly you down and you could just live on my boat for a while, And I'm not making any of this stuff up, but there's beautiful prompts, right? So I'm looking at boats and loving all the boats. I'm looking at like my vision board kind of thing. Now, no idea how I'm ever going to do this, right? But I love looking at it. And then I'm down in Costa Rica, and I get this message that this couple who they're painters, and we let them stay at our house, and they teach art courses. And anyway, they're an older couple. They texted us and said, how would you like to have our 55-foot wooden handmade boat for free? Just, if we can stay at your house for the summer, here's the boat, and just stuff like that. And then I'm down in Costa Rica, and right before I go to this retreat in Costa Rica, I'm throwing my hands up like, I don't have any friends. Like I have you all, but I don't really have friends. You know what I mean? Like I've let go of some kind of something, right? But in this way, I've kept this crazy separation happening too. So I'm like throwing my hands up going, I'm just gonna live in the cave somewhere because I don't really, nobody gets me, right? Nobody gets me. And I love it, but I hate it. And anyway, it's a thing. And I don't really have anyone my age. Like I'm always relating to older, wise people who've walked before me, like showing me things. Was born in the wrong generation, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I go to this Costa Rica retreat, and like this girl who literally has the same conviction I do of this whole like, no friends, nobody gets us, blah, blah, blah. Like we meet each other. We met each other. I met myself. I met my mirror. I met this light-hearted, innocent, pure love, like in love. Like my heart created me in this form that looks like a union, but we're really turning into the union more than the form. It's like all my relationships prior to awakening have been special, trying to become holy, right? By using the course, by using this. Then all of a sudden I'm having the holy instances come into my world and saying, it's not even special. There's nothing to work on because the arrival of my heart is showing up. Now, sure, can I turn it into something? Of course, I always can, but not, it's too painful. It's too painful. So I'm gonna, look, I went over again. I'm so sorry. So thanks for letting me talk with you and reading this and tuning into what we already are just by hanging out, feeling each other's hearts, knowing who we truly are, knowing that everything that comes out of our mouth is just an expression of the one infinite creator. And as we're awakening and awkwarding together, I get to do it with all of you and let go of the identity that keeps me like hidden and secret and weird. So anyway, We are donation based. So I know Sina will put a link in the room. And if you're on the radio and you're called to donate, it's awakening-together.org/donate. And that is much appreciated. So we'll end with a song and go into contemplation. Thanks for listening. Thank you, everyone, for being with me. And I could feel you all. It's amazing. So handing over the mic to you, Sina, and I hope to see you all in fellowship.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.